The backyard had been transformed in a way only a proud parent could manage. White folding tables lined the fence, each covered with pastel tablecloths that fluttered in the late afternoon breeze. String lights crisscrossed overhead, not because they were needed, sunlight still warmed everything, but because they made the moment feel important, permanent, like a memory already being preserved. A banner hung between two trees, "Congratulations, graduate." The tape curled at the edges, struggling to hold on. I stood near the drink table, gripping a plastic cup filled with melting ice and something citrusy I didn't remember pouring. Around me, conversations overlapped, loud laughter from the uncles near the grill, emotional sniffles from distant relatives recounting baby stories, the sharp crack of a soda can opening somewhere behind me. This wasn't my world, but somehow, I was part of it. Across the yard, he was being pulled into another group photo, cap gone, hair messy, smile easy and unforced. 18 years old, standing tall like he'd been waiting his whole life for this moment without realizing it. I'd known him since he barely reached my shoulder. Back when he hated algebra, scraped his knees riding his bike too fast, and asked too many questions about things he wasn't ready to understand yet. I'd helped him with homework at the kitchen table, driven him to early morning practices, sat in the bleachers when no one else could make it. Never because I was asked. Always because I wanted to. His laugh carried across the yard, and something in my chest tightened, the familiar ache I'd learned to live with. Then I felt it, that awareness you get when someone's looking at you. I turned. She stood near the patio doors, a serving spoon in one hand, greeting guests as they came and went. She looked calm on the surface, composed the way she always did, but I knew better now. I'd seen the late nights, the exhaustion she tried to hide, the quiet moments when she thought no one was watching. When our eyes met, her expression softened. Not the smile she gave everyone else. This one was just for me. She excused herself from the conversation she was in and walked over, her steps measured, unhurried. Sunlight caught the faint lines at the corners of her eyes, earned, not worn. The breeze lifted a strand of her hair, and she tucked it back automatically. "You look like you're thinking too hard," she said. "I always do at parties," I replied. "Too many people, too many feelings." She laughed under her breath. "That tracks." We stood shoulder to shoulder, facing the yard. The distance between us was small, close enough to feel her warmth, but familiar enough not to draw attention. "Can you believe this?" she said quietly, nodding toward her son. I blinked, and suddenly he's done. "I remember when he needed help tying his shoes," I said. "Swore they were cursed." "He still swears," she said fondly. "Just about bigger things now." There was pride in her voice, but also something else. Relief. Letting go. "I'm glad you're here," she added after a pause. "I wouldn't miss it." She hesitated, fingers tightening around the spoon she still held. That was new. She was rarely nervous. "I wanted to talk to you earlier," she said. "But it's been chaotic. Graduation parties usually are." "No," she said softly. "I mean, internally." I glanced at her. She kept her eyes forward, watching guests mill around, pretending to be just another host making small talk. "You did a lot for him," she continued. "For both of us." I shook my head. "You carried everything. I just helped lift." She finally looked at me then, and the intensity of it made my breath catch. "Not everyone stays," she said. "You did." The words landed heavier than they should have. Before I could respond, she reached into the pocket of her light cardigan. I meant to give you this earlier," she said, pulling out a folded piece of paper. She slid it into my hand discreetly, her fingers brushing mine. The contact was brief, accidental looking, but deliberate. "What is it?" I asked. "Read it when you're alone," she said quickly, already stepping back. "Or later. Whenever." She hesitated, then added, "Thank you. For everything." And just like that, she turned away, heading toward the dessert table where a cluster of relatives waited, oblivious to the moment that had just passed. I stared at the paper in my hand. It wasn't thick. It wasn't dramatic. Just a note. Still, my pulse picked up. I folded myself slightly away from the crowd, pretending to check my phone, and unfolded it. 4 words. "I choose you. Stay." That was all. No explanation. No context. No room to misunderstand. The noise around me dulled, like someone had turned down the volume on the world. My chest felt tight, then hollow, then painfully full all at once. I looked up instinctively. She stood near the dessert table, nodding politely as someone spoke to her, but her smile didn't quite reach her eyes. One hand twisted a napkin over and over, the paper already tearing. She was waiting. I folded the note carefully, once, twice, like it was something fragile, something sacred, and walked toward her. "Hey," I said softly. She turned. "Hey." I read it. Her breath stuttered. She glanced around quickly, then back at me. Oh. Silence stretched between us. Not awkward, charged. I didn't know if I should, she admitted. I went back and forth all night. I'm glad you did. Her eyes searched mine, as if bracing for disappointment. I didn't want to put pressure on you, she said. Or make things strange. Too late, I said gently. Everything's different now. She swallowed. I've been choosing you for years, she said quietly. In all the small ways. I just never had the courage to say it out loud. My throat tightened. I was afraid, she continued. Afraid it wasn't fair. Afraid I was reading something that wasn't there. I glanced across the yard, where her son laughed freely, surrounded by friends, already stepping into his future without looking back. He's ready, I said. You raised him well. Tears welled in her eyes, but she blinked them away. And you? She asked. Are you? I held up the note. 4 words, I said. They changed everything. Her shoulders relaxed, like she'd been holding her breath for years. I don't need promises, she said. I just needed honesty. I met her gaze. Then I'm staying. Her hand found mine, not hidden this time. Firm, certain. For a moment, the party disappeared, the music, the chatter, the celebration, leaving just us standing there, grounded by truth finally spoken. In the distance, her son called her name, grinning, asking for another photo. She squeezed my hand once before letting go. Coming, she called back. Then she looked at me, eyes shining. Thank you, she said again. But this time, it meant something entirely different. And under the string lights, surrounded by laughter and endings and beginnings, I knew. Nothing was pretend anymore.